And by the end of the third day, I couldn't take the pain anymore of what I had caused to her, to her family, to myself, to all of our friends. Like literally our life got shattered in hours. And so by the end of the third day, I couldn't take the pain anymore. So I decided to kill myself. And some of your listeners might have been, or maybe are in that situation where, the enemy is speaking lies into our heads and encouraging us to do very foolish things. And that was me. Even as I was praying about this conversation today, I literally had this vision of there was a spiritual battle over my soul. And the enemy was literally minutes away from taking me, and I would be burning in a lake of fire right now.
Yeah.
And as I was planning on where to get the gun and where do I do this so that she doesn't have to clean up, for some reason, I told her about what I was planning on doing, and she took me to a church that we were attending at the time, and we met with a pastor in a prayer room at that church. And I always like to give him credit. His name is Robert Stokes. Still connected with him 10 years later. But
LT, let me interrupt. Sorry, remember what you were gonna say. Why did you tell her? What was going on in your heart that you feel like I need to tell her I'm gonna do that?
Oh, it's a good. I don't think anybody has ever asked me that. So good job. I've always been a very faithful person. Infidelity was never something that I intentionally wanted to do to hurt my girlfriends or girls that I had been in relationships with. And I think I actually grew up in a very conservative family where certain values were taught well. And so lying and cheating and keeping things in hiding was not, I was taught by my parents to never do that. And so I think that's part of it. The other part is I think God really allowed me to do that because it's a very, very hard thing to confess. Something so hard, knowing that there will be repercussions, right?
Yeah.
And so I think all of that really helped me. And honestly, I could not fathom living a life with her without telling her, essentially living in a lie.
Yeah.
Without telling her this big thing that had happened and not sharing that with her. I think she even though it hurt her clearly and it broke her heart, it was exactly what. There needed to be no lies, no hidden things in between us.
The reason why I ask before you continue is because in less than a week, you dropped 2 big bombs on her. And the last bomb you drop is that you're going to end it. How did she respond? And why did you tell her?
I think I told her that I was planning on killing myself, honestly, because I was scared. One thing that I always rescue from my upbringing in the Catholic faith, and this was hammered over and over and over again throughout the decades that I spent there, is that people that commit suicide go to hell. This was kind of like a standard phrase that I was taught. Yeah. And I don't know whether that's true or not. That's not the point of this, but that was something that I had been brought up with. And so as I was contemplating killing myself, eternity in hell felt very real, and it was terrifying. It was very scary. And so I think out of fear and I simply needed to share, and it was literally this might sound weird, but it was literally a audible voice in my head that I could hear. Now I know it was the enemy speaking lies into why I should do it. You just ruined your life. There's no hope. You just confessed it and it got even worse. And the more days you spend trying to fix it, actually makes it worse and worse. And so all these lies were being literally screamed at the top of in my brain. And now I know it was the enemy who really, really tried to take me down. And so when I confessed it, I honor her for her response because she could have done many things. She could have said, go do it. She could have
I'm done with you anyway. Go ahead.
Literally. Yeah, exactly. But no, she immediately, without saying a word, she literally got me in the car. She drove to the church. It was 10 minutes away.
Before we get into that part of the story, which is very interesting. So you told her, and 3 days later, you wanted to commit suicide. So what was happening between day 1 when you told her to day 3 that was also, consciously killing you inside, but
Mhm.
was there a distance in the relationship? Did you
Right.
feel like how was that relationship?
Yeah, those 3 days were extremely dark.
Mm,
Um, what happened during those 3 days is, since I had just, on day one, I had just confessed my infidelity, um, immediately the walls that we had built in our marriage and in our relationship for many years, everything came crumbling down.
yeah,
There was
yeah,
no more lies, no more secrets. And so during those 3 days, what happened was, besides me confessing and sharing more details about the infidelity, I also confessed all the other crap that I had done
mm,
throughout the years. And if you can imagine, I wasn't a very good husband. And so
yeah,
there were many, many other things, countless sins that I had committed against her and against God over many, many decades, or sorry, years, that I had never shared with her.
yeah, mm,
And so since this was this kind of fresh wave of honesty and vulnerability, where we just literally shared everything, and
yeah,
naturally, she
yeah,
also wasn't a perfect human being.
yeah,
She shared stuff with me that she had never shared before, and so it was a mutual moment where all the walls were had disappeared, and we were
mm-hmm,
finally
mm-hmm,
seeing each other in a very raw kind of way.
yeah,
And in a normal context, you know, when there's truthful and when you're sharing your heart, it can actually be very fruitful and upbringing or uplifting for a marital
yeah.
couple to confess and forgive and blah blah blah. But in this context, it wasn't like that. The
It
more
wasn't
we
like that.
shared, the more separation and hurt
Mm,
and division and anger and sorrow. Like it was just like everything was
yeah.
getting mixed up in 3 days. It was a very, very wild, dark 3 days. It wasn't, fun in any particular way.
Wow. Wow.